We've seen the lavish trailers, the stunning early visuals, licensed content, old and new, but a true test of a proper racing sim is how it performs over the long haul. How is the driving experience? And that's what we're going to find out today with AC EVO. Okay then, here we are, AC EVO. First time I'm going to come off the line. We're in the Porsche 911 Cup car. Now we're just going to get settled into a rhythm here. We're obviously racing with 9 AI opponents as well, so we're instantly getting a view at what the AI are going to be like to race against. No idea what any of the settings are. These are just 3 set scenarios for this test today. I've always been a massive fan of this Cup car though. So it's a great place to start. Should give us good feedback on how the actual handling works, how the force feedback feels. Obviously we're going to get a good look as well at the bespoke game engine, the graphics. Right, so we're 2/3 of a lap into the first race. Immediate thoughts. It's reminding me feel-wise of Assetto Corsa Competizione. Now that's because I've raced this Cup car a lot on ACC around Imola. And it's given me a similar sort of sensation. I'm getting a huge amount of detail. Road surfaces, curbs and things like that are all feeling very strong. And it does look different. It doesn't feel like I'm playing ACC. It just has a few similarities in terms of the actual feeling and characteristics of the handling so far, I would say. Obviously very, very early stages. And this is a pre-alpha build as well, so we're getting a very small slice of what's to come with this game. Performance-wise as well, though, against 9 AI opponents, so far I've not seen any issues. We don't know anything about what PC we're running here, so we don't know if it's a super PC or not, but without reading too much into it, so far it's very, very smooth. I'm liking the visuals as well. The cars are looking really clean. You can already see the lighting starting to take effect a little bit. It looks like we're racing into the evening here. It's about 20 to 8. I'm also noticing the mirrors are very, very clear as well. You've obviously got pop-in and things like that. With mirrors, you'd completely understand that, but they're looking incredibly clear. You can see what's happening with the cars behind you. It feels like you're sitting in a real car as well, the angle of the mirrors and everything. I'm a big fan of that. Sound-wise as well, I'd say it's kind of reminding me of the sort of sounds I would hear on ACC, and that's definitely not a bad thing. I'd say one of the strongest points about ACC for me was the immersion with the sounds when you're going over the curbs, the reverberations when you drive past the pit wall. They really bring a game to life. You can see the Ferris wheel lit up there on the left as well, so the atmosphere is beginning to kick in as we move into night. It's obviously an accelerated day to night time cycle. Let's dive down the inside into turn 1, trying to get a feel for the brake pedal. Don't think we've got any ABS on this Porsche Cup car, obviously no traction control either. I'm noticing in this first session that the steering wheel I'm using is not actually matching up to the steering wheel in the game, so maybe that's something we can get changed between the sessions. So it does make the car a little bit more sensitive. But even though, to me, the overall car handling characteristics at this very early stage is reminding me of ACC, I'd say the actual force feedback feels a little bit fuller. It feels like there's a little bit more depth to it. I'm feeling more connected to the tyres and the road, and I'm a big fan of ACC. I know it has its critics in terms of the force feedback, but I do enjoy it. I would say there's just that tiny bit more connection here though, compared to this combo and what I'm used to. We're getting into the full nighttime now. You can see lampposts lighting up the track. That kind of floodlit atmosphere is something you just never got with the original Assetto Corsa. As great a game as it was, atmosphere was not one of its strong points. They definitely got that right with Assetto Corsa Competizione, and it seems like AC EVO is definitely continuing in that vein. Don't even know what position we're in. We're in 5th. We've got another lap to go. Let's see, yellow flag up ahead, so AI potentially making some mistakes. Definitely braking way too early at this stage. Yeah, we've got a car off on the left there, so it definitely looks like the AI has spun off whether there was contact with another car. That's an interesting thing to note. No influence from me there whatsoever. Here in the Fanatec stand using the Corsair rig, which we saw for the first time at Gamescom, but it's now going to be rebranded and repurposed as a Fanatec rig, so it's the same rig. Obviously with the takeover, we're going to get this in Fanatec branding, which is very nice, and it's a really good rig. I'm loving the comfort from the seat. I enjoyed my time with it at Gamescom as well. So you can see it's already fully nighttime now, so we're getting a look at how it is in the dark. I'm also noticing the windscreen wiper on the front there. You've got a nice little natural wobble to it, so when I load up the car by turning right quite sharply, tried to there, I don't think I succeeded, but I was noticing the windscreen wiper moving quite a lot under load. So it's just little details like that. It's kind of what I expected, having seen some of the trailers and the sorts of detail that we've been seeing on the lead up to this moment. I think that's going to be us though, coming across the line. A couple of screen freezes there momentarily. And I think that's us. Definitely still a long way to go in the braking into turn 1, but that's our first race done.
For the upcoming right-hander, brake 30 meters later and ease off the pressure. For this hairpin, turn in 20 meters earlier and focus on smoother throttle exit.
Okay, so we've had our shot on the Porsche, but now as you can see, we're running the Alpine A110 at Mount Panorama, which is very exciting, and it's raining. So now we're really getting into original Assetto Corsa territory in terms of road car. Obviously it didn't have rain, so now we've got that. Oh, a bit of understeer there. Can really chuck the car around. You feel really connected to the road actually. More so I would argue than I was maybe expecting. Oh, that's understeer. Didn't feel connected there. Testing out the gravel. Sure, we'll go with that. The rain effect on the windscreen is impressive. Lots of water droplets, obviously the wipers doing their thing, although you can still see after the wipe's gone there's a bit of a streak left, but not all the water gone. It's just all these little bits of detail. The main thing for me here though is how does the road car feel, how does the wet weather feel? I've already got the information from the circuit, that all feels fine. I don't know exactly how bumpy Mount Panorama is in real life at this particular section, but it feels pretty smooth on this. So it's difficult to judge there. Understeer, oh! Yeah, gravel definitely stops you, right? We'll stop testing the gravel now. Need to remember I'm in a road car, not a race car, and it's wet. Okay, hopefully we can get this thing a little bit sideways. Not sure if we've got a little bit of traction control or stability control, but when I tried to get the back end round there, it didn't really like it. It just understeered, and that could be maybe the car's default settings. Yeah, so I've got TC1 by the looks of it, and a bit of ABS, so we're not running on zero traction control. Obviously I'm not running with AI in this session, so it's very much a case of just me and the car and the circuit. Now obviously I'm wearing headphones and we're not capturing this directly, so you guys might not be able to hear the car sounds very much. Hopefully we'll be able to show you a little bit of gameplay footage from other sessions to give you an idea. Whoa, losing it in the water. But the sounds are pretty good. I mean, it sounds like an A110. I would expect it to sound at this current stage, I would say. It's similar to what I was saying at Imola. The sounds are one of the big things about ACC. And it seems like the detail in the sound is already here. I've obviously got the rain coming down. I feel like I've got a bit of reverberation from the cockpit as well, which is nice. And obviously I'm finding the car, whoa, there was a puddle there, I'm pretty sure, so that's standing water, making a difference. Started almost aquaplaning, but because I've got road tyres on, I was able to gather it up. You can see there the light reflecting on the surface. Some bits were brighter, so you had a kind of lighter section on the right where the sun was shining. Maybe there was a bit of a puddle there, and then a darker section on the left, so you can really differentiate where the grip's going to be. Here there's a puddle on the inside as well, so if I try and charge through that, yep, more understeer, okay. So you can plough through the puddle, induce some understeer, as it should be. And I actually think this track's developing as I go. I feel like it's getting wetter as the session's going on, but it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. You've obviously got all of those caveats with a pre-alpha build, with a vertical slice. You're only trying a small bit of the game. So all you can really talk about is what you're experiencing in a very short amount of time on an unfamiliar cockpit with unfamiliar hardware. So the main thing you're looking for is just signals that it's got the potential, it's got the feel. And obviously the Porsche Cup car gave me that visceral feeling that I was connected to the road. I had the stiff suspension, all of that stuff. As this road car has continued around and the track's gotten wetter, I felt the connection to the road almost dwindle slightly, as it should do when you're talking about heavy rain. But right at the start, it was feeling more connected. But even now, I'm still able to haul it around and scrabble for grip. Watch for the understeer. Bit of a lock up there. Can we save a slide? Yes, we can. Yeah, it's definitely getting worse now. So third and final car and track combo for this little preview. And we're in a Hyundai i30N, a car that my colleague Tom Harrison-Lord actually used to own, so I'm really curious to hear his feedback. First example of a front-wheel drive car, and we're also driving around Brands Hatch. Don't know if it's GP or Indy, we'll find out when we get there. And as you can see, it's a usually damp day at Brands Hatch. It's been raining, but it looks like a drying line is beginning to appear. So obviously something I would never get in ACC is that feeling of front-wheel drive understeer, ploughing through the corners. I'm a big fan of throwing road cars around racetracks though, because I feel like there's so much more to learn and more ways of grabbing lap time from them than race cars, which you get very used to the braking zones, keeping it neat and tidy, getting the power on early. But these cars, there's so much more happening in the space of a single corner. So let's get on the power. We've got a little bit of traction on. Again, likely to be factory default settings for this particular car. So that's something you'll be able to turn off. Let's try the grass just to feel it. And then lock up on the damp, and you can see there, yeah, I had a very big lack of grip. So getting offline, onto the damp patch, just hitting the brakes, couldn't get it stopped. It's a lovely sound in this car when you change gear as well. Oh, I need to stick on the dry racing line, keep forgetting it's damp. Yeah, there's a lovely kind of mellow hum with this engine note, and when you change gear, yeah, it's like all the little details of the sounds you would hear will come through. On the brakes, get it turned in. A bit too early, we're going to get on the damp, get on the curb, understeer a little bit. Use all of the road there, and you can just feel the gravel texture coming out. I've got a track cut warning. Again though, look at the size of the crowds. There's the Ferris wheel on the left. You've got that atmosphere, which is such a big part, in my opinion, of a racing game. Yes, it's all about the handling and the physics, the game modes, which we obviously haven't even touched on yet, because we've just got some set scenarios here. But I do think trackside atmosphere and feeling is hugely important, and that comes with day-night cycles. That comes with rain and a crowd and all of that stuff. And I'm really impressed with that side of things at this stage. Very, very impressed. Hopefully they can translate this feeling across multiple circuits, multiple disciplines. And obviously based on the teaser trailer we've seen already, we can expect maybe a free roam mode, maybe some driving outside of a circuit, at least public roads. I can imagine that's going to be crucial for those bits as well. How do they kind of combine the car culture elements with the more racetrack-focused performance elements? Obviously, it's a racing game at the end of the day, so this is going to be a huge part of it, but how do those two things bleed together to create kind of an ultimate overall experience? And obviously, Kunos want this to last, right? They're going to want this game to be the trendsetter, to be the standard setter for the next, who knows, number of years, 5 years, decade? I mean, Assetto Corsa is still incredibly popular, and that's more than a decade old already. Oh, bit of lift-off oversteer, I think, there. Oh, bad driving. I'm trying really hard to think of ways I can compare this to other sims that you're familiar with in terms of the driving feel, because that's obviously what you do. You look to compare it to what you're familiar with, and I've driven lots of different sims. They all feel very different. I'd say it definitely feels like an Assetto Corsa title, put it that way. It doesn't feel like it, you know, it's R Factor 2, or it doesn't feel like it's iRacing. It feels like an Assetto Corsa title in the way it handles. But obviously, with the different cars and everything, they've got to really work on the nuances between the two things, between the front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, between race cars, road cars, historics. And in this road car, for example, in this Hyundai, I'm able to slide it around a bit. I can feel the suspension moving, the kind of slightly wallowiness. I mean, this is a sports car. This is obviously an N moniker Hyundai, so it's set up to be stiff and agile, but it's still nowhere near a race car. And you can definitely feel that. You can feel the dampers working, you can feel the tires scrabbling. Whenever I get understeer, I know I'm getting understeer. It's very painstakingly obvious, and it happens more often than the damp. But one of the big indicators of how a game feels to drive is how much you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so far, I really am. Really want to push the brakes to the limit here. You're going to find a little bit of rhythm with this. Turning over the damp, use all the curb on the power. That's the track beginning to dry up now. I can feel the difference. It's just that tipping point where you go from struggling to just having that grip. Yep, there we go. Turning in and it's responding to me. Slightly off the racing line. You can see the kind of slightly dark patches appearing compared to the bits that are still damp, but it's not as extreme as it was earlier. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the public react to getting a go this weekend. It's going to be exciting to hear some of the opinions and thoughts. Everyone's going to have a different one, I'm sure. And obviously, when you get to try it yourselves, you're going to have your own thoughts. And I really cannot wait. I just also can't wait to try out all the content that we're going to have, all the different variety. It's exciting to be a sim racing fan right now with what's around the corner. So that was my first taste of AC EVO, and I'm really impressed with what I felt so far. The handling was probably better than I expected at this very early stage, but obviously we're trying a very small slice of the game. There are plenty of caveats to take into account as well. But do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. How does it look to you? Are you going to be trying it this weekend at the Expo, or are you going to have to wait until later? Do check out the channel later on today as well, because we will have a podcast with Marco Massaruto. Plenty of exciting stuff revealed, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and catch that when it comes out. And until next time, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.